day and a warm welcome once again back to Hampton Downs. Jonathan Green here as we bring you action from the third round of the Castrol Toyota Racing Series. We welcome you from wherever you're tuning in around the world, and we look forward to bringing you another very exciting race from this already getting to be a very interesting 2019 season. This is race 2, and this is a reverse top 6 grid. And if you don't know what that means, well, in TRS we do a ball draw at the end of the first race. The winner draws the ball, and it's either a 6 or an 8, and we reverse the top 6 from that first race, and that is our grid, which means, interestingly enough, that there's a great opportunity for 2 youngsters, 17-year-old Esteban Muth of Belgium and Australia's 16-year-old Jackson Walls. This just his second season in car racing, Jackson Walls, and in fact he wasn't young enough to take part in the first event of this year's championship, could only test the car, and got a chance to race in the second weekend at Terra Tonga. Let's take a look at the grid then. There you see it. Esteban Muth in pole position, and alongside him, Jackson Walls. Behind them, it's Lucas Auer and Liam Lawson, 2 men vying for the championship. Raoul Hyman is on row 3 with Marcus Armstrong. Cameron Dass, row 4 with Callan Williams. Kazuto Kataka, the 19-year-old Japanese, is in 9th position, and alongside him, Petru Florescu of Romania. Thomas Smith and Parker Locke are in 11th and 12th position, and then Dev Gore and Brendan Leach. Then Artem Petrov and Peter Pedicek. They meet again, having come together in the first race of the weekend, the second race of the weekend, and Artem Petrov taken out by Peter Pedicek. So, new chance for rivalry at the back and certainly at the front. Great opportunity for young Jackson Walls. Michael Patrizzi in Australia, I hope you're tuning in, and I hope you've given him good advice, because this, without doubt, is the biggest race of this young man's career. His father is waiting patiently on the pit wall and watching every move his young son makes, and he knows, because he's been a racer himself, what it's like to be on the front of a grid like this. But this is going to be pretty intense. And Esteban Muth, who perhaps was robbed of a victory in Highlands when he just crept at the start of the race and was penalised, and Brendan Leach ran on to victory. So Muth has got a reason to want to win this one like anybody else. But more importantly, he's also vying for the rookie honour, and at the moment he's second in the championship to Liam Lawson. So that's another accolade he's seeking for. So watch out for Esteban Muth, the 17-year-old who's been racing in Europe and represents the famous endurance team that always take part in Le Mans and around the world, Strecker Racing. And you can see it emblazoned on the side of the number 30 car. What can Lucas Auer and Liam Lawson do from the second row? There's the experience. And even though Liam Lawson has nowhere near the experience of the 24-year-old Lucas Auer, he's certainly shown Lucas how to run here in New Zealand, the 16-year-old. And I think may do it again here in this one. But Lugie, as he's called, will be wanting to change his form. And he's done that in the last race, getting a good result. And also in qualifying, looking very good for the feature race. That one coming up later this afternoon. So stay tuned on the live stream. But we're about to go racing. Kenny Smith's sister, we've got royalty in the house. And of course, those of you who don't know New Zealand motorsport, Kenny Smith, 3-time winner of the New Zealand Grand Prix, and still going. Yes, still going. And Kenny's here today. He'll be running a 5,000, I would have thought. And yeah, it's great to see the Smiths as part of the legacy of New Zealand motorsport, and long may it continue. Just went round the Bruce McLaren museum across the way here at Hampton Downs. Spectacular place to go, and it really is amazing to see what Bruce achieved from 1959 and what his Formula One team continues to be one of the biggest teams in Formula One. Not had the success in the last few years, but the legacy and the history soon tells you that McLaren aren't done with racing just yet. So, what can Marcus Armstrong do? He's on the third row. He leads the championship, but it's a slip. It's a slight margin, that's all it is. He's on the third row, and he's got to stay out of trouble. Number 7 alongside him, Raoul Hyman, third in the championship, and looking for a good result out of this reverse grid. I was talking to Brendan Leach, who's right at the back for this one. in the number 86. He's had an up-and-down weekend, but the car feels good. I asked him realistically how far he thought he could go in a race like this, on a track like this, and he said eighth would be good, and so that's what Brendan's looking for. Everybody's off the grid. Murray, are you there?
Yeah, well, Jonathan, down here in the pits, I've got to say the breeze has come up just a little bit. It's still quite overcast. This is going to be a fascinating race. It's a 20-lapper, so they're running about 27 to 28 litres of fuel. That'll step up for the longer New Zealand Motor Cup this morning, 25 laps. So well, Jonathan, a blast of sound there as they go away. Esteban Muth, of course, this is the second time he started off pole position. 17-year-old, great test for him. And young Jackson Walls, I've got to say, this young Australian really impresses me. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. And behind them, of course, Lucas Howe, the old man of the field at 24. Liam Lawson at 16, Rail Hyman 22, Marcus Armstrong only aged 18. Real youth, real excitement here.
As Brownie would say, Teen Titans, that's what they are. And they're about to go racing here for race 2. They weave from side to side to get some temperature into those tyres. And as we learned from the first race here at Hampton, you can make mistakes on the first lap and then more mistakes, and it then just goes to chaos. And I think a lot of people losing their heads in that first race. They calmed them all down. Chris Pither, the driver's mentor, if you will, and the man who gives out the driver instructions on the driver briefing, warning them to race a little bit more professionally. The world is watching, and these guys need to perform. It's 5 intense weeks of racing like they've never had before for many of them. Certainly Esteban Muth and Jackson Walls have come on dramatically in the last 3 weeks. We're getting to the halfway point of this 2019 series. The first major international series around the world. Daytona, 24 hours, starts on the other side of the pond today, but the Toyota Racing Series is well underway and halfway through its season. On the front row, 2 youngsters, a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old. Who is going to make it here at Hampton on that first corner? The second row has 2 of the contenders for the title already. Up go the revs. Out go the lights, and a good start from Jackson Walls. He comes right across, very tight indeed on Muth. They're side by side as they head towards the first corner, and it's still side by side, but I think Muth's just about got it, and he has. Muth takes the lead, but he was squeezed by Jackson Walls. Liam Lawson dives into 3rd place. Through turn 2 and up and over they go at turn 3. Raul Hyman's got ahead of Armstrong. Good start from Hyman. Into turn 4. Whoa, Lawson turns around Jackson Walls, the Australian, and he's lucky to get away with that. And well, he might not as well because he caused that incident. But Lawson's still up and running. Lucas Hour. And that spread the field out and certainly played into the hands of Esteban Muth. His brother, his 15-year-old brother, is here watching on the sidelines. He's going to be here next year, we hope, for the Muth family. But this is a great start, just what Esteban wanted, because that little fight at turn 4 by Lawson, turning round Walls, has given him the gap he needed. They'll come back up the hill and cross the line, but it is Esteban Muth leading the way in the number 30. Lucas Howe second, Lawson, then Armstrong, Raul Hyman up the inside. Good move from Hyman, and he's going through. There he is, just ahead of Das. And fighting hard here. Das trying to get past in 6th place and battling hard with Hyman. And there's Brendan Leach. Leach moving up to 11th already. Artem Petrov up to 10th. Now we look at Lucas Hour. He's a man revitalized after what was a bit of a slump.
So Jackson Wall in the pits, a quick look at the car, nothing seems to be amiss, and he's rejoining.
Good work, Murray Taylor in the pits for us. Motoring Murray doing the business down there. And anybody else that comes in or any other stories we've got, we'll head down to Murray and hear from him. But back at the front, Esteban Muth extending that lead now and really pushing on. His last lap of 106.8, that was the first. He crosses the line now. And a 102.4, but Lucas Auer was a 101.8. So Lucas Auer, a man on a mission, and look at this, Kotaka and Williams almost touching, and they've already come together here at Hampton, and I'm sure Williams doesn't want another altercation with the Japanese, but I think the Japanese won that one. Through he goes, a little bit of a moment there. All sorts of action and jostling for position going on in the early stages of this one. 18 to go, remember. And Lucas Auer on a sprint right now. Jackson Walls returns, and Raoul Hyman goes wide. Well, he was pushing hard, was Raoul Hyman, and he's lost a lot of places there. A real shame for him. Now, Lawson's gone with Lucas Auer as they go in pursuit of Esteban, but Esteban's gone. He is gone. He's a long way ahead of the rest of the chasing pack. Let's have a look at the times. This time, he crosses the line with a 101.6. He's faster than the rest of them, except for Liam Lawson, who did a 101.5, but there's nothing in it. There's Lawson in the middle of your picture there, and behind him, of course, Marcus Armstrong. And Marcus Armstrong will be playing a waiting game here. No need to win the race, no need to challenge Lawson and risk everything. He's got a wise head as Marcus Armstrong in fourth place. He'll take his opportunity if he gets it, but he's certainly not going to force it here at Hampton. Cameron Dass still there fifth. Kotaka up to sixth place at the moment. Dev Gore still in the running. Thomas Smith moving up the board. And Parker Locke, a 103.2 by him. Here is Marcus Armstrong, Ferrari Academy driver, and of course, a accomplished karter in Europe and the rest of the world before he went into single-seaters. Even ran an 86 at one point, but not a championship. But it's Muth, Auer, Lawson, Armstrong, and Dass. That's your top five. Kotaka is in sixth place, and Petrov, who was also in the championship hunt, having had that win. And a podium, of course. So Petrov very much in the hunt for the overall championship lead. And I think that's the key to Hampton Downs, is who's going to be leading the championship with 7 races to go after this, 4 at Taupo, 3 at Manfield. And so the halfway point, the psychological gap between who has the championship lead, which is Marcus Armstrong at the moment. Murray, what's up?
Well, I'm fascinated by this battle for second. Liam is absolutely stalking Lucas. In the meantime, Marcus is keeping a very close watching brief. The 3 of them locked in there, waiting to make the move. Probably watching the tyres, letting the fuel burn down a bit. But really close between those 3.
Yeah, very close. And I was listening to your interview with Liam Lawson. You could tell the frustration in qualifying. He really wants to be fastest all the time. I was talking to his mother yesterday, and she said he's always been like that. It didn't matter what he was doing, when he was going for a bicycle ride or hanging out with his sisters, he had to be first. And so it's been a trait of Liam Lawson. So I think the frustration is there with him, and I think if he can get past the mighty Loogie, it's another scalp for him, and more importantly, it's another place ahead of Marcus Armstrong, because that's what he'll be thinking about. Marcus Armstrong, on the other hand, has got the championship lead, and to follow Lawson home is not a bad trait. So Lawson, I think, will be the man trying to make the move before the end of this race. I think you're quite right with 15 to go, and as you say, he's already right up there on the tailpipe of the man from Austria, Lucas Auer. They were almost identical times last lap. And Esteban Muth, can he finally get the victory that he's been waiting for, the 17-year-old? And he does go fastest. Everybody doing personal best now, but it's Esteban Muth who's got the fastest of them all, a 101.226. Everybody upping the pace now. Cars settling down, the tyres up to optimal temperature and grip. And now we're getting the fast times. The fastest we've had has been in the 59s. And if you want to know how close it is, in the last qualifying session for the big race this afternoon, the top 14 was split by less than a second. I'll repeat that, less than a second. So just say one Mississippi and they've all crossed the line if they were all doing it theoretically. That's how close it is between these guys. So the guys who are running all 4 teams are doing a heck of a job, because there's not one of these guys that is without pace here in New Zealand. Another lap completed. And Armstrong's definitely dropped back from Lucas Auer and Liam Lawson. He's in 4th place, here he is, and he's got about 3 or 4 car lengths. Having said that, and we can understand why, because Liam Lawson's just gone fastest man out there. He's just done the fastest lap, so Lawson and Auer are pulling away from Armstrong. But I feel that Armstrong is not going to do anything too spectacular in this one. Lawson's 101.1, the fastest lap of the race so far. I feel that Armstrong won't be happy with 4th place, but he'll take it. And Lawson can do all he likes with Lucas Auer, because if either of these two make a mistake, Armstrong's going to have a big grin on his face, because these are the two he's worried about. He described Lucas Auer as a bulldog after qualifying. And of course, Liam Lawson has been the bulldog of the series so far. And you can see he's lining himself up and trying to force the Austrian into a mistake. But Lucas has seen it all before. This is his 3rd TRS championship, and he's already been doing DTM for several years. Car coming into the pits, that is Jackson Walls again, as Lawson looks up the inside. Can't quite do it at turn 1, but he's trying. And they've got to be careful now, because they're going to catch the car in front. And of course, that is the man leading the race, Esteban Muth. So this battle as Lucas locks up, and this is what Lawson wanted it, and he pounces. Lawson takes the position, 2nd place for Liam Lawson of Pukekohe, and the crowd go nuts here. Great to see. The man from down the road is taking it down the road and into 2nd place in the number 10. And Armstrong is caught right up, so that lock-up, a tiny lock-up by Lucas Auer was all it took. And now Marcus might change the plan.
Yes, look for a big push from Marcus. He'll have seen Liam go through. He won't want him to get away.
Absolutely, and if he does catch Muth, I'm sure he'll challenge for victory, because 2 places is just what he wants. Now, you've got to remember that these are all M2 competition, as Armstrong looks to the inside of Auer. M2 competition drivers, they've got to be careful. Good run so far by Brendan Leach. He's powering his way through the field as we look at the leaders, keeping an eye on the back of the field as well, as Brendan Leach moves into the top 10. Raoul Hyman has recovered to 9th, having gone off. Callum Williams is 8th, Petrov 7th, Katoka still 6th, and Cameron Dass in the top 5 at the moment. Well, we're watching this battle, and it's intriguing too, because as you say, Murray, Marcus senses the opportunity now to go after Liam and certainly get past Lucas Auer. Liam did a really good job. Go ahead, Murray.
I think this is the critical lap. You can see that Marcus is right tucked in behind him now as they come around the big sweeper. Just drops back a little bit, but I think, you know, he's thinking, I've got to make my move now.
Callum Williams makes his move now too, ahead of Raoul Hyman. Across the line comes Muth. Here comes Liam Lawson. Armstrong not close enough to make a move on Auer just yet. They go through turn 1, 4th gear. Down towards the Hamilton asphalt, turn 2. Over the up and over. Tough corner that. Deceptive. You can easily get it wrong on the exit. And as we've seen, mistakes already. Auer got turned around at turn 4 yesterday.
He's still got the pressure on. Is this now is the hour for Marcus Armstrong?
Yes, exactly. Well, I just don't think he's close enough at the moment. He's going to have to tuck himself in. And an overtake at turn 1 starts here, Murray, as you well know, through the sweeper. And what you need to do is get the power on as early as you can, tuck yourself up behind your opponent, and jig to the outside. You can try the outside, jig to the inside, excuse me. You can try the outside, but it very rarely works, and it certainly didn't work for Lucas Auer at the start of the first race here at Hampton Downs.
And Jonathan, keep an eye on that gap between Liam and our race leader. I think he's closing in on him.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The gap was 2 seconds, and I think it's going to go down. Muth just doing the business. He just wants to stay clean, does Muth. He's not going to be under pressure yet from Lawson, but Lawson's going to be pushing on, especially as he knows that Lucas Auer is still holding off, and I'm sure they're putting the board out for him to let him know that Lucas Auer is holding off Marcus Armstrong.
Yes, definitely catching him now.
Brendan Leach on the back of Raoul Hyman now. 9 to go. Leach in 10th, Raoul Hyman 9th. Callan Williams ahead of them. Only retirement then, the number 11, Jackson Walls. Muth crosses the line. Lawson definitely getting closer and just sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:00.6. And that was much quicker, almost half a second quicker than Esteban Muth. And if he didn't know he was under pressure, he is now, the Belgian. Auer still holding on to third, ahead of Marcus Armstrong. Cameron Dass some way back, but in 5th place. Be a good result if he can get another score on the board. More drama to come from this one yet, and of course we've got the feature race for the historic New Zealand Motor Cup, something that Armstrong missed out on with his massive battle with Richard Verschoor last year, and he's determined to try to make his name and put his name on that ever famous trophy here in New Zealand, probably the most prestigious of all the trophies.
Jonathan, I don't know what the race pace is. You look at the timing monitor, but I think the top 6 are actually closing up.
I think you're absolutely right. All of them are in the 101s, and in fact Petrov in 7th is in the 1:00. So you're absolutely right. They're all, in fact, 3rd, 4th and 5th just posted their fastest laps of the race. Personally, not the overall fastest, that's Liam Lawson, but you're absolutely right. It's closing in with 7 to go. And as the fuel load gets lighter, they're able to push harder. And as long as the grip remains good, which it will, then they can push on. And I think Armstrong is not settled for finishing behind Lucas Auer, but I don't think he wants to make a stupid mistake and create a problem. Liam Lawson did risk a lot, but it's paying off for him. But at 16, he's got no cares.
And his mirrors are now full of Liam Lawson, I can tell you. This is a real test for young Muth.
Oh, no question about it. We're looking at a big battle here also between Leach and number 9, Peter Petacek of the Czech Republic. They cross the line again. Armstrong still holding that position of 4th. Dass actually doing a good job. There's only 5 seconds between the leaders, as you can see. Kotaka quite some way back in 6th place, but Dass very much in touch. There's still 6 to go in this one.
Well, as we said earlier, Jonathan, I think it's less than a second covering the top 14 in qualifying this morning. This is relentless, and Liam is stalking him. He's stalking him.
Oh, no question about it, and I can hear the crowd cheering him on too. But you're absolutely right, everyone's dialed in now. They started practice on Thursday here at Hampton Downs. It's a short circuit, not hard to learn, but hard to make an overtake. And with a lap time of just a minute, that's why everyone's dialed in. So almost identical times, but we've seen it many times here at Hampton. It does take a pretty exciting maneuver. As Muth crosses the line, and Liam Lawson very close indeed, and he's got plenty of time to make his move. Armstrong senses his opportunity too, and I think he's already worked out that Liam Lawson is going to attack Muth, the 17-year-old, very quickly. Liam Lawson going for victory. I said that this could be a defining moment of this championship. Whoever leads the championship after Hampton Downs at the halfway point, and Liam Lawson is looking for victory. Not as many points up for grabs on race 2, but everyone counts, and therefore Lawson is going for the full complement, and he's going to take a lot of points away from Armstrong if this is how it finishes. If Liam Lawson can get ahead of Muth, then he will make a big difference. And as I said before, Muth, of course, fighting Lawson for the title of the top rookie, don't forget. Much better performance by Lucas Auer. Been talking to Greg Siddell, who of course has mentored many of the greats from Nelson Piquet to Roberto Moreno, and he's still going very strong indeed, and now looking after Lucas Auer. Another lap completed, 4 to go now. If Lawson's going to make his move, he's got to do it soon.
I tell you what, Jonathan, this is a great drive from young Muth.
Yes, it is.
Holding off the pressure. I mean, he must be seeing Liam all through his mirrors, and look, the gap is staying pretty constant right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's right there, is Lawson, but you're right. We saw this at race 2 with Leach and Muth. Muth held it off Leach, but of course was given that jump start at the end of the race, so he crossed the line and took the checkered flag. So I'm not surprised to see him soaking up the pressure like this, because he's done it already at Highlands. But this is a different situation. Now we're getting more critical in terms of points, and Lawson is getting more desperate to get past, I'm sure.
I wonder if he's chosen his spot. There must be somewhere that Muth is vulnerable. He's been close enough now to see and watch and just look for any little opportunity.
Turn 4, that's my guess. And he thought about it there too. Or he's trying to get in the mirrors of Muth, trying to make Muth look in the mirrors and make a mistake. Head down to 2, he's not close enough here. But he does, this is where Lawson's quick. Look at this, look at the exit of here. Out of 3, now he's right up there now. Will he dive? He goes to the outside. He's trying to force Muth into a mistake here. He goes to the switchback. But that's where I think he's going to try to take him. 3 to go, he's got plenty of time to do it. Here's another opportunity.
Big weave here.
Look at him go, round through the dipper. Lawson trying every which way. The intimidation for the 17-year-old Stracker man under full pressure from the 16-year-old. And he knows he's faster, Lawson. Muth hanging on in there at the moment. I know Thomas Randall, one of our former champions, is watching on the live stream. Well, Lawson's looking very much like a Randall in this position. I remember it all too well here a couple of years ago. Here we go. Lawson jigs to the inside again, trying to force Muth to take a different line. Muth not being intimidated. The gap, 0.2. It was over 2 seconds about 4 laps ago.
He's certainly gone defensive.
No question about it. He's losing time, and this is where Lawson catches right up again. Into 3. Watch him sit there right behind him. Goes to the outside again. Now we'll do the switchback. He's not going to get round the outside like that, but he might make a move into the Porsche dipper here. Up the inside. He jigged to the outside last time. Muth's defending, and he'll switch back again. Put the power on early. You can make a move at the sweeper. Not many people do it, but he's certainly close enough to have a go there. But maybe, just maybe, oh, he's going for it. Ooh, that was close.
Well, this defensive driving, Jonathan, the others are catching up.
I know.
The first 6 are all bunching up for the flying finish.
I know, we've got a heck of a finish. Here we go, up the hill they come here at Hampton Downs. New Zealand motorsport at its finest. Lawson goes to the inside of Muth. The Belgian defends, but Lawson's going to hold the line and take the lead at Hampton Downs. Brilliant stuff by the 16-year-old. Great racing here. And Muth will try to come back at him. He comes side by side, surely not round the outside. Go on, Esteban. Ah, can't quite do it. Good racing, but look who's caught up. Here comes Lugie. And Lucas Auer and Marcus Armstrong are right there as you predicted. More, if he'd had the grip, he'd have got past Muth, but he can't. Lucas Auer on the outside, Muth on the inside. Lawson leads the race. Marcus Armstrong's heart, I'm sure, is beating fast.
Last lap, Jonathan.
Here we go. But that was a great overtake from Liam Lawson. And this has been another top draw drive by the maestro, the little maestro. And it was LL cool. Liam Lawson cool, because he was cool as a cucumber. And we'll see the checkered flag again. Lawson wins. What a victory. He just keeps getting better and better. And he's a rookie.
Well, Jonathan, another stunning performance from Awesome Lawson.
Yep. Brilliant stuff. And confirmation then. Liam Lawson, Esteban Muth, a great drive. Lucas Auer 3rd, Marcus Armstrong 4th, Cameron Dass 5th, Kotaka of Japan 6th, Petrov 7th, Callan Williams of Australia in 8th position, Raoul Hyman 9th, and Brendan Leach getting into the top 10, having started further back for Victory Motor Racing.
Jonathan, you've got to say the intensity of that race. They were all on it, and all of them thought they were in with a chance.
Well, when you look at the fastest, when you look at the fastest times, I mean, they're all in the 1:00s. Only question I have is there a penalty coming for the incident with Jackson Walls and Liam Lawson? Maybe you could ask him that. Good luck. But I mean, it was. He took Walls out of the race on turn 4. So we'll see. So all sorts of drama. Go ahead.
The word we're getting, Jonathan, is that there will be an investigation after the race, but at the moment, he's rolling into that #1 spot, and I'm sure he's very happy. That's his 3rd win. Marcus on 2 wins.
Well, I'll certainly be interested to hear what he has to say about that, because, yeah, he won't have been proud by that moment, but it was, and I don't want to take anything away, a scintillating race by Lawson. He chose his moment so brilliantly on Esteban Muth, and Muth soaked the pressure up brilliantly, but there was so much he could do. I had a feeling that with him pushing as hard as he did, that he was going to get them. So Lawson is out of the car, so too is Lucas Auer, and just in front of me, Esteban Muth. And in a moment, hopefully, we'll hear from the drivers about their race. So another cracking race from Hampton Downs. The boys are back in the paddock and getting ready for the feature race coming up. We'll give you all the information, and if there are any changes, we'll let you know. But stay tuned on our live stream. More racing to come. We have a feature longer race coming up for the historic Motor Cup, the New Zealand Motor Cup, and that one coming up. Armstrong, desperate to win it, and he's in the best position to do so. Liam Lawson, though, has just created a stir here again amongst his home fans with another sensational win.